I'm Emily Carter, 30, and as a data analyst in one of Seattle's top tech firms, I should feel on top of the world. Instead, every month when I transfer $2,000 for my parents' rent, I'm that scared kid again, chasing approval I'll never get, despite bankrolling their lives. I'm still the family letdown, while my older sister, Jessica, soaks up praise she doesn't earn. This Christmas dinner flipped everything upside down. Before I share how I finally fought back, tell me where you're reading from in the comments. Hit like, and subscribe if you've ever felt invisible to the people you sacrifice for. Growing up in the Carter house in Boise, Idaho, meant one truth: my mom, Susan, had standards, and I never met them. Dad, Robert, wasn't much better. His silence stung as much as her criticism. From science fairs to track meets, nothing I did was enough. Third place is just not first, Mom would say, eyeing my ribbons with a smirk. Dad would nod, avoiding my gaze. Jessica, 4 years older, was their star. The day she landed her first modeling gig at 16, they threw a party. My straight A. Report cards? You're just good at tests, Emily, Mom said, flipping through Jessica's portfolio. Dad added, don't let it go to your head. Jessica's C's were creative spirit, my debate wins were showing off. I found validation elsewhere: teachers' praise, scholarships, the quiet pride of building my own path. I escaped to college at Washington State, majoring in data science, graduating top of my class. No family showed up. Jessica had a photo shoot. I told myself it didn't matter. I landed a job at Peak Tech Solutions, a Seattle powerhouse, and built a life there for 6 years. Contact with my family was minimal: holiday texts, rare calls, surface-level stuff. Then, 4 years ago, everything shifted. Mom called on a Wednesday night, her voice shaky. Dad had a stroke at 60, leaving him unable to work his construction job. Mom's part-time gig at a boutique barely covered groceries. Their savings were gone, and their rent was 4 months behind. They faced eviction from the house I grew up in. I'd just gotten a big raise, enough to afford Seattle's steep rents and save a bit. Without a second thought, I moved to a cheaper apartment 20 minutes from their place in Boise and started covering their $2,000 rent, plus $1,000 monthly for utilities, phone bills, and medical costs. Just until we're back on our feet, Mom said, hugging me. That was 4 years ago. Dad's recovery was slow. He took odd jobs, bringing in pennies. Mom worked more hours, but their rent and bills stayed my burden. $12,000 a year, $48,000. Total so far. Gratitude? Non-existent. Mom still nitpicked my career choices. Data so cold, Emily. Dad grumbled about my fancy city job. Jessica, now in Los Angeles chasing acting dreams, sent postcards but no money. Yet she was their pride and joy, the artist who'd make it big. This year, I decided to host Christmas at my new Seattle apartment, a nice place with a view, earned through my latest promotion. I invited Mom, Dad, Jessica, and her boyfriend, Tyler. I planned for weeks: Dad's favorite roast beef, Mom's green bean recipe, Jessica's preferred sparkling cider. I spent $428 at the store, picking organic veggies and a prime cut. Loading my car, I felt hope and dread. Maybe they'd see my effort. But as I caught my tired reflection in the rearview mirror, a voice whispered, they never do. Christmas morning, my apartment smelled of rosemary and garlic. I'd been up since 6 a.m., prepping the beef, baking rolls, setting the table. With my best plates, gifts from a failed engagement, another story. The chandelier, a thrift store find, glowed softly. Past Christmases haunted me. Last year, Mom sighed that my pie was too tart. The year before, they raved about Jessica's audition while ignoring my firm's record-breaking quarter. 3 years ago, Dad invited my ex to fix things, despite our breakup. My phone buzzed. Laura, my college friend. Got your escape plan? Boundaries, M. I smiled. Laura knew my family's chaos. Beef's in the oven, cider's chilling, fake work call at 7 p.m. if I need out. Code word, algorithm. She replied, call me at 7. Love you. At noon, Mom arrived with a store-bought fruitcake, despite my dessert plans. The table's pretty, she said, but red napkins? Too bold. I bit my tongue. Thanks for the cake, Mom. Kitchen's that way. She frowned at the beef. Not my recipe. I poured her wine. It's a new marinade. Want a glass? She took it, flipping on the TV to a holiday special. I kept cooking, ignoring her jabs about my cluttered counters. Jessica and Tyler arrived at 12:30, her with a cheap candle, him empty-handed, scrolling his phone. Nice place, Tyler said, handing me the candle. Thanks, I said, touched by his effort. Jessica hugged Mom, who gushed, you look like a star, honey. LA's treating you right. Jessica grinned. Got a call back for a commercial. I offered Tyler cider. Can I help? He asked. I'm good, but thanks, I said. His eyes caught the tension, Mom praising Jessica, ignoring me. First time meeting your folks, he said quietly. Jessica talks you up a lot. I doubted that but appreciated his kindness. Dad showed up at 12:50, carrying cheap beer despite my cider stash. Hard to find this place, he grumbled. You need better signs. I sent directions, I said, taking his coat. Smells okay, he muttered, his version of a compliment. Overhearing him tell Mom, Emily's showing off her tech money, I gripped the counter. $428 on groceries, $48,000 over 4 years, and this was my thanks. At 1 p.m., I called them to the table: roast beef, garlic mashed potatoes, green beans, homemade rolls, all perfect. Dad frowned. No stuffing? It's there, I said, pointing to a dish with cornbread stuffing. Not Mom's recipe, he muttered. Mom took his hand for grace. Lord, we thank you for this food and family. We're grateful for Jessica's visit from LA, her bright future, and Tyler joining us. Bless our bonds, stronger than worldly success. Amen. Not a word about me, the meal, or the rent I paid. Tyler caught my eye, offering a small nod. Beef looks amazing, Emily, he said. Thanks, I said, my voice tight. Mom added, it's fine, but I roast it longer. Jessica launched into her audition story, Dad and Mom hanging on every word. I ate quietly, wondering why I'd bothered with organic carrots and artisanal bread when only Tyler noticed Christmas dinner was unraveling, and I felt the familiar sting of being invisible. In my own home. The table in my Seattle apartment gleamed with $428 worth of food: roast beef, garlic mashed potatoes, green beans, homemade rolls, but my parents, Susan and Robert, and my sister Jessica barely noticed. They were deep in a conversation about Jessica's latest audition in LA, while her boyfriend, Tyler, shot me sympathetic looks. I'd spent 4 years paying their $2,000 monthly rent and $1,000 in utilities and medical bills, $48,000 total, yet here I was, the family afterthought. If you've ever poured everything into people who don't see you, drop a comment with your story, hit like, and subscribe. It helps keep this real. Emily, this cider's great, Tyler said, trying to pull me into the conversation. Where'd you find it? Before I could answer, Mom cut in. Oh, Jessica loves that brand. She's always had such refined taste. Jessica smiled, basking in it. It's from a boutique in LA, she said, as if I hadn't bought it. I swallowed hard. Work's been good, I tried, hoping to shift the focus. I closed a major project, analyzing data for a $500 million client. Dad snorted, slicing his beef. Numbers and computers. Not real work, Emily. Mom nodded. Jessica's out there chasing dreams. That's passion. My cheeks burned. Tyler frowned, but Jessica just sipped her cider, unbothered. I'd moved back to Boise 4 years ago when Dad's stroke left them drowning. Their house, my childhood home, was on the line. My data analyst job at Peak Tech Solutions gave me the means to help, so I took a cheaper apartment and covered their rent and bills. Temporary, Mom had promised. But Dad's odd jobs and Mom's boutique shifts didn't cover much. Jessica, meanwhile, sent selfies from LA, never a dime. Yet they gushed over her big break, while my sacrifices, $12,000 a year, were dismissed. Dad once called my job playing with spreadsheets, and Mom said I was too focused on money when I mentioned their overdue phone bill. At the table, Dad complained the stuffing was too fancy. Mom sighed about my single status. At 30, Emily, you should settle down. Jessica's got Tyler. Tyler shifted, uncomfortable. The food's amazing, Emily, he said, but Mom waved it off. She's always been a decent cook, but nothing like my recipes. I gripped my fork, the weight of $48,000 in years of criticism crushing me. I paid for this meal, I said quietly. And your rent? Your bills? For 4 years. Silence fell. Jessica looked at her plate. Dad's face reddened. Here we go, he muttered. Always throwing money in our faces. Mom added. We're grateful, Emily, but family's about more than checks. Grateful? I snapped, my voice shaking. When have you ever said thanks? I've paid $2,000 a month for your house, $1,000 more for utilities, medical costs, $48,000 total. And you call my work fake, my food wrong, me a failure. Dad slammed his fork down. Don't talk to us like that. We raised you. Raised me? I laughed, bitter. You raised Jessica to be your star. I got your scraps, criticism, comparisons, never good enough. Mom gasped. You're jealous of your sister. Always have been. Jessica stayed silent, avoiding my eyes. Tyler looked like he wanted to disappear. Jealous? I said. Jessica doesn't pay a cent for you. She sends postcards while I keep you from eviction. And you worship her. Dad stood, chair scraping. Enough. You think money makes you better than us? Get out of your own damn apartment if you're gonna disrespect us. The absurdity hit me, kicked out of my home for calling out their ingratitude. Tyler spoke up. Mr. Carter, that's not fair. Emily's done a lot for you. Dad turned on him. Stay out of this, kid. Mom grabbed Dad's arm. Robert, it's Christmas. He shook her off. I won't sit here and be lectured by my own daughter. Something broke in me. You're right, I said, standing. This is my apartment, paid for with my fake job. And I'm done. Funding yours. No more rent, no more bills. $3,000 a month stays with me now. Mom paled. Emily, you can't. We'll lose the house. Dad barked, you're bluffing. You wouldn't dare. I'm not, I said, calm now. Jessica can step up. Or you can figure it out. Dinner's over. Please leave. They stared, stunned. Jessica finally spoke. Comions, let's talk. No, I said. I'm done talking. One by one, they left, Dad fuming, Mom teary, Jessica silent. Tyler paused at the door. I'm sorry, Emily. You deserved better. I locked the door behind them, staring at the untouched feast. $428 in groceries, $48,000 in support, and now, freedom at a cost I was ready to pay. I grabbed my keys and drove, needing air. For 3 hours, I circled Boise's familiar streets, past the high school where I was valedictorian to Mom's "That's nice," past the park where Dad cheered Jessica's cheerleading but skipped my track meets, past the boutique where Mom displayed Jessica's headshots, not my awards. Memory stung, Mom using my college fund for Jessica's modeling classes, Dad forgetting my 18th birthday for her pageant. My phone buzzed. Laura. You okay? I pulled over and spilled everything, Dad's outburst, Mom's accusations, my ultimatum. Good for you, she said. They've used you for years. This is abuse, financial, emotional. You're not the bad guy for stopping it. Her words hit hard. Was it abuse? I'd thought I was helping, being the good daughter. But what kind of family demands everything and gives nothing? You're right, I said. It's over. Back home, I sat at my laptop, hands steady. I logged into my bank, canceling all auto payments for their rent, utilities, and medical bills. Each "Are you sure?" prompt felt like shedding chains. Yes. 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 Next, I emailed my lawyer, Sarah Evans. Dear Sarah, I'm ending all financial support to Susan and Robert Carter, effective immediately. For 4 years, I've paid $2,000 monthly for their rent and $1,000 for utilities and medical costs, totaling $48,000. This was voluntary, with no legal obligation. Please document this in case of disputes. Regards, Emily Carter. I texted their landlord, confirming I'd no longer cover rent. Understood, he replied. January's on them. I contacted utility companies, removing my payment info. The electric company rep said they have 5 days to update payment details before disconnection. I nodded. Fair enough. By 1 a.m., I dismantled my financial tether to them. $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year, would stay mine. Relief mixed with grief. They were my parents, despite everything. I remembered Mom braiding my hair before Jessica was born, Dad teaching me to skate. But those memories couldn't justify their treatment. I booked a hotel for the night, avoiding a confrontation if they returned. My phone lit up, Dad's texts, furious, how dare you? Mom's voicemails, tearful, you're breaking my heart. Nothing from Jessica. I silenced my phone, packed a bag, and left. In the hotel, I showered, letting the water wash away the day. Staring out at Boise's lights, I knew tomorrow would bring chaos, but tonight, I'd taken my first step toward freedom from their control. For the first time, I believed I could be enough for myself. The morning after Christmas dinner, I woke in a Boise hotel room to 43 missed calls, 28 voicemails, and 79 texts. My phone was a battlefield. Dad's messages ranged from, "This is unacceptable, Emily," to, "You'll regret this." Mom's voicemail swung between sobs and guilt trips, "How could you abandon us?" Jessica was silent, no surprise. If you've ever faced family backlash for setting boundaries, share your story in the comments, hit like, and subscribe, it helps others feel less alone. I ordered room service, a small act of self-care, and scrolled through the chaos. Aunts, uncles, and cousins had joined in, tipped off by Mom's version of events. Aunt Clara's text stung, "Emily, how could you do this to your parents? They gave you everything." I didn't respond. They didn't know I'd paid $48,000 to keep mom and dad housed at my Seattle apartment. I braced for confrontation, but the place was quiet, the table still littered with half-eaten Christmas dinner, $4.28 in groceries, now cold. I cleaned. Methodically, wrapping leftovers, washing plates, trying to restore order while my mind churned. Laura texted, "You holding up?" I replied, "Barely. They're acting like I'm the villain." She called immediately. "They're projecting. Imminência. You've been their safety net for 4 years, and now they're scared. That's on them, not you." Her words grounded me. I wasn't wrong to stop enabling their disrespect. Still, the guilt gnawed, Dad's stroke, Mom's tears, the house I grew up in. Could I have warned them first? I went to work at Peak Tech Solutions, refusing to hide. My boss, Michelle, called me in. "Emily, your parents showed up at the front desk this morning, demanding to see you. They were upset. Security escorted them out." My stomach dropped. "I'm sorry," I said. "Don't be," she replied. "You okay?" I took a breath and told her the truth. I've been paying their rent and bills for 4 years, $2,000 for rent, $1,000 for utilities and medical. I stopped yesterday after they disrespected me at Christmas. They're not handling it. Michelle nodded. "That's heavy. You need time off?" I shook my head. "Work keeps me sane." She smiled. "You're tough, Emily. Securities. On alert, no one gets in without your say-so." Her support felt like a lifeline. By noon, Jessica texted, "Mom and Dad are freaking out. You really cut them off?" I replied, "Yes. I've paid $48,000 over 4 years while they treated me like dirt. Your turn to step up." Her response was quick, "I can't afford that. My acting gigs barely cover rent." "Then they need to figure it out," I typed. "Sell the house, get better jobs. I'm done." She didn't reply. Later, Tyler called, his voice hesitant. "Emily, I'm sorry about yesterday. I told Jessica she needs to help, but she says it's your responsibility." "I don't agree." I sighed. "Thanks, Tyler. It's not your fight. It's wrong how they treat you," he said. "I'm rooting for you." His unexpected kindness softened the ache. That afternoon, the landlord called. "Miss Carter, your parents are begging me to talk to you. They say there's a mix-up with the rent." "No mix-up," I said. "I've paid their $2,000 rent for 4 years. I'm done." He paused. "They're 3 months behind already. They used your payments for other debts." My jaw dropped. "What?" "Credit card advances, loans," he said. "They owe $15,000 beyond the rent." The betrayal cut deeper. My $48,000 hadn't even kept them afloat, it funded their recklessness. I thanked him and hung up, fury mixing with grief. They'd lied, letting me think I was saving their home while they dug a deeper hole. I drove to a park near my old high school, sitting on a bench where I used to study, ignored by Mom and Dad. Memories flooded back, Mom skipping my science fair for Jessica's runway show, Dad using my summer job savings for her acting lessons. I'd told myself it was love, but it was control, keeping me small so Jessica could shine. My phone buzzed, Uncle David, Dad's brother. "Emily, your parents say you've abandoned them. What's going on?" I texted back, "I paid their rent and bills for 4 years, $48,000. They never thanked me, just criticized." I stopped. "That's the truth." He replied, "I had no idea. They said you helped a bit. I'll talk to them." By evening, utilities at their house started shutting off, no new payment info, just as I'd warned. Mom's texts grew. Desperate, "No heat, Emily. It's 30 degrees. The water's off tomorrow." I didn't reply. They had 5 days to act, they chose denial. I called the police non-emergency line, reporting their attempt to enter my workplace. "We'll patrol your building," the officer said. "Call 911 if they show up at your apartment." I thanked him, feeling safer but not settled. That night, I barely slept, jumping at every creak, expecting Dad to bang on my door. The next day, I booked my first therapy session with Dr. Lisa Grant. I'd never done therapy, but the emotional weight was crushing me. "Tell me why you're here," she said, her voice calm. I spilled it all, the dinner, the betrayal, the $48,000, their accusations. "I feel guilty, but also free," I said. "Like I'm betraying them, but they betrayed me first." She nodded. "You've been in a one-sided relationship, giving everything while they took without giving back. That's emotional abuse, Emily. Setting boundaries isn't betrayal, it's survival." Her words hit like a revelation. I wasn't the problem, their expectations were. We talked about my childhood, Mom's dismissal, Dad's criticism, Jessica's pedestal. "You've been conditioned to seek their approval," Dr. Grant said. "Breaking that cycle is painful but necessary." I left feeling lighter, like I'd dropped a brick I'd carried for years. Back home, I found a voicemail from Mom. Emily, we're losing the house. Please, talk to us. I didn't call back. Instead, I texted Laura, therapy helped. I'm not crazy for cutting them off. She replied, you're not crazy. You're brave. That night, I hosted Laura and a few friends for leftovers. We laughed, ate cold beef, and toasted to chosen family. It was the first time in years I felt seen without strings attached. The following week, Jessica called. Ging we meet? Just us. I agreed, picking a Seattle cafe, neutral ground. She looked tired, her usual glamour faded. I didn't know you were paying so much, she said. Mom and Dad said you helped with small stuff. I feel awful. I studied her. You could have asked, Jess. You saw me struggling. She nodded, eyes down. I was selfish. I'm trying to do better. I'm sending them $500 a month now, not much, but it's something. I was stunned. That's a start, I said. They need to own their mess, though. She agreed, and we talked, really talked, for the first time in years. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was something. Driving home, I felt a shift. The house was in foreclosure, and Mom and Dad were moving to Uncle David's in Oregon. I'd lost the family I'd fought for, but gained something realer, self-respect, honest connections, a life I could choose. The $48,000 was gone, but I'd bought my freedom. I wasn't the little girl begging for approval anymore. I was Emily, and I was enough. 2 weeks after the Christmas dinner disaster, my life in Seattle was a mix of relief and chaos. I'd cut off the $2,000 monthly rent and $1,000 in utilities and medical bills I'd been paying for my parents, Susan and Robert, totaling $48,000 over 4 years. The backlash was fierce. Texts, calls, and family gossip painted me as the villain. If you've ever had to choose yourself over toxic family, share your story below, hit like, and subscribe. It helps others know they're not alone. I was holding strong, but the emotional toll was heavy. Therapy with Dr. Lisa Grant gave me clarity, but the guilt of leaving Mom and Dad to face foreclosure gnawed at me. My phone was a war zone. Mom's voicemails were relentless. Emily, the electricity's off. We're freezing. How could you? Dad's texts were angrier. You're no daughter of ours. My sister Jessica, who'd started sending $500 a month to help them, called daily, torn between guilt and frustration. They're saying you've destroyed the family, she said during one call. I told them you paid everything for years. But they won't listen. I sighed. Jess, they've been lying to everyone, saying I only helped a little. I'm done carrying their lies. She paused. I get it. I'm trying to help, but $500's all I can do. It's more than you did before, I said. They need to figure out the rest. Work at Peak Tech Solutions was my anchor. My boss, Michelle, had my back after my parents tried barging into the office. You're killing it on that $500 million project, she said one morning. Don't let family drama dim your shine. Her support meant everything, especially when family friends started messaging. Cousin Lisa texted, Aunt Susan says you're having a breakdown. What's the truth? I replied, I paid their rent and bills for 4 years, $48,000. They treated me like garbage, so I stopped. No breakdown, just boundaries. She responded, wow, they never said that. I'm sorry. Word was spreading, and the truth was shifting how people saw me. Then came a bombshell. The landlord called again. Emily, your parents are 6 months behind on rent, not 3. They've been using your payments to cover credit card debt and loans, $25,000 worth. I felt sick. My $48,000 hadn't saved their home, it had fueled their reckless spending. They never told me, I said. I'm sorry, he replied. Foreclosure's moving fast. They've got 30 days to vacate. I hung up, rage and betrayal mixing with relief. They dug their own hole, and I wasn't responsible for pulling them out anymore. I drove to a Boise coffee shop to meet Laura, my rock since college. Over lattes, I spilled the latest. They lied about everything, I said. My money went to their debts, not the house. Laura shook her head. That's abuse, using you while tearing you down. You're free now. I nodded, but the weight of their betrayal lingered. I keep thinking about the house, I admitted. My old room, the backyard where I used to read. It's gone. Laura grabbed my hand. That house wasn't your home. It was their trap. Your home is here, with people who value you. Her words hit deep, and I felt a spark of hope. Back home, I found a letter slipped under my door, Mom's handwriting on the envelope. My heart raced, but I opened it. Emily, I don't know if you'll read this. Jessica said she'd try to get it to you. I've been wrong, about so much. I see now how we leaned on you, how we hurt you. I favored Jessica because she was easier, less challenging. You were always so bright, so independent, and I didn't know how to handle that. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just hoping you. No, I see my mistakes. We're moving to Oregon with David next week. The house is gone. I hope you're okay. Mom. I read it twice, searching for the usual guilt trips. There were none, just raw honesty, something I'd never seen from her. I brought the letter to Dr. Grant's office. This feels real, I said, but I don't trust it. She nodded. It's a step, but one letter doesn't undo years of hurt. Reconciliation requires consistent change, not just words. What do you want? I thought hard. I don't want them back in my life, not now. Maybe never. I just want to move on. She smiled. That's a valid choice. You're not obligated to fix this. I left feeling grounded, knowing I could choose my path without their approval. That weekend, Tyler texted, I broke up with Jessica. She wouldn't stand up to your parents, and I couldn't stay with someone who ignores what you went through. I was stunned. I'm sorry, I replied. Don't be, he said. You showed me what standing up looks like. Stay strong. His words reminded me I wasn't alone. Laura invited me to a game night with friends, and for the first time in weeks, I laughed without a weight on my chest. We played cards, ate pizza, and toasted to real family, the ones who show up. It felt like a glimpse of what life could be without my parents' shadow. Monday brought another surprise. Uncle David called. Emily, I'm ashamed I didn't know you were paying their bills. They told us you were just helping out. Susan and Robert are moving in with us, but it's tense. They're blaming you, but I set them straight. I thanked him, feeling a crack in the family narrative. They need to own their choices, I said. He agreed. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. It was small, but it mattered. Someone in the family saw me. By mid-January, their house was officially in foreclosure. Mom texted, we're packing. It's real now. I'm sorry, Emily. I didn't reply, but the guilt softened, replaced by resolve. I'd given them 4 years, $48,000, and my heart. They'd given me criticism and lies. Dr. Grant helped me see it. You're grieving the family you wanted, not the one you had. That hit hard. I mourned the parents who never celebrated my wins, the sister who took their praise while I carried their burdens. But I also felt free. At work, Michelle pulled me aside. Emily, you're being considered for a lead analyst role. Your work's been stellar despite everything. Keep it up. Her trust in me was a stark contrast to my family's dismissal. I threw myself into the $500 million project, finding purpose in numbers that made a difference. That night, I wrote Mom back, thanks for your letter. I'm glad you see your mistakes. I'm not ready to talk, but I wish you well in Oregon. Emily. It was short, neutral, leaving the door cracked but not open. Jessica texted, asking to meet again. I'm trying to change, she said. I agreed, but with boundaries, no parents. No excuses. We were starting over, not rebuilding. As I walked through Seattle streets, passing tech offices and coffee shops, I felt lighter. The $48,000 was gone, but I'd bought my freedom. The house, the memories, the pain, they weren't my burden anymore. I was Emily, building a life with people who saw me, not the shadow of their expectations. What's your story of breaking free from family control? Share below, hit like, and subscribe. True family lifts you up, not holds you down. A month after cutting off my parents' $2,000 rent and $1,000 in bills, $48,000 over 4 years, the storm was still raging. Susan and Robert had moved to Uncle David's in Oregon, their Boise house lost to foreclosure. My sister Jessica was trying to step up, sending $500 monthly, but it wasn't enough. Family drama spilled into my Seattle life, with relatives texting accusations. How could you let their home go? If you've ever been blamed for setting boundaries, drop your story in the comments, hit like, and subscribe, it helps others feel seen. I was standing firm, but the weight of their anger and my own grief was heavy. Therapy with Dr. Lisa Grant kept me grounded. You're not abandoning them, she said in our weekly session. You're refusing to be their crutch while they disrespect you. That's strength, Emily. I nodded, but guilt lingered. I'd paid $48,000 to keep their house, only to learn they'd used it for credit card debt, $25,000 they'd hidden. I feel stupid, I admitted. I thought I was helping. Dr. Grant leaned forward. You acted out of love. Their deception isn't your fault. Her words eased the shame, but not the betrayal. I mourned the parents I'd hoped for, not the ones who used me. My phone was quieter now, but Mom's text still came. We're struggling, Emily. David's house is crowded. Please call. Dad's were harsher, you've ruined us. I didn't respond. Jessica, though, was different. We met at a Seattle cafe, her eyes tired. I'm paying what I can, she said. But Mom and Dad keep saying it's your fault. I told them you paid everything for years, $48,000. They didn't believe me at first. I sighed. They've lied to everyone, Jess. I'm done with their games. She nodded. I'm seeing it now. I was their favorite, but it wasn't real, just easier than dealing with you. Her honesty surprised me. I'm sorry, Em. I should have noticed sooner. It wasn't full reconciliation, but it was a start. Work at Peak Tech Solutions was my refuge. My boss, Michelle, called me in. You're killing it on the $500 million project, Emily. We're recommending you for lead analyst. I blinked, stunned. Despite the family drama? She smiled. Because of your focus through it. You're resilient. Her faith in me felt like a warm blanket after years of my parents' coldness. I dove into work, finding purpose in data that secured futures, unlike the $48,000 I'd poured into their lies. That evening, Laura hosted a movie night at her place. Surrounded by friends, laughing over popcorn, I felt a flicker of the family. I'd always wanted. Then, a letter from Dad arrived, forwarded through Uncle David to respect my boundaries. Emily, I'm out of excuses. We're in Oregon, trying to start over. I was wrong about your job, your choices, how we treated you. I didn't see what you did for us, $48,000, more than we deserved. I'm sorry. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Dad. I read it 3 times, searching for manipulation. It felt raw, real, but I wasn't ready to trust it. In therapy, Dr. Grant said, this is progress, but apologies don't erase years of hurt. You decide what's next. I nodded. I don't want them back yet. I need space. She smiled. That's your power, choosing what serves you. The next day, I ran into Aunt Clara at a Seattle grocery store, her cart blocking mine. Emily, she said, her voice sharp. Your parents are suffering because of you. I kept calm. They suffered because they lied, Clara. I paid $48,000 for their house while they ran up $25,000 in debt. Her eyes widened. They said you helped a little. They lied, I said. I'm done carrying them. She softened. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I nodded and walked away, leaving my cart. The encounter shook me, but it proved. The truth was spreading. Later, a viral post about our grocery store clash surfaced, tech analyst confronted by Aunt in Green's Market. Colleagues sent supportive texts, strangers messaged, relating to family betrayal. Jessica called that night. I saw the video, Em. I'm sorry Aunt Clara ambushed you. I sighed. It's fine. People are starting to see the truth. She hesitated. I'm moving back to Boise. I got a small role in a local theater production, and I'll help Mom and Dad more. I was surprised. That's big, Jess. It's time, she said. I leaned on you too long. We talked for an hour, unearthing childhood memories, her stealing the spotlight, me fading into the background. It wasn't healed, but it was honest. At work, Michelle offered me the company's emergency housing fund. If you feel unsafe with your parents' behavior, we can help you relocate temporarily. I thanked her but declined. Police patrols near my apartment and a new security system gave me peace. My professional life soared. I enrolled in a data science certification, boosting my skills. Friends like Laura became my chosen family, hosting brunches where I felt valued, not judged. One Sunday, over pancakes, Laura toasted, to people who see you for you. I clinked her glass, feeling at home. Uncle David called again. Your parents are struggling at our place. Susan's working more, but Robert's stuck, says he's too old to start over at 60. They're talking about you less, though. I nodded. They need to face reality. I did my part. He sighed. I wish I'd known about the $48,000 sooner. You're a good daughter, Emily. His words hit deep, validation I'd never gotten from Mom or Dad. I wrote Dad back, thanks for your letter. I'm glad you see your mistakes. I'm not ready to talk, but I wish you well in Oregon. Emily. Short, neutral, a door ajar but locked. By February, their house was gone, sold at auction. Mom texted, we've lost everything. I'm sorry, Emily. I didn't reply, but the grief softened. Dr. Grant helped me process it. You're letting go of the fantasy family. That's freedom. I mourned the parents who never cheered. My wins, the sister who shone while I sacrificed. But I was building something real, friends, a career, self-respect. Jessica and I met again, setting ground rules, no parents, no past promises. I want to be better, she said. I nodded. Then show it. We were cautious, but it felt like a new beginning. Walking through Seattle's rainy streets, I passed tech hubs and parks, feeling lighter. The $48,000 was a steep price, but it bought my independence. I wasn't the kid begging for love anymore. I was Emily, surrounded by people who chose me, not my wallet. What's your story of standing up to family expectations? Share in the comments, hit like, and subscribe. Real family builds you up, not breaks you down. Thanks for being part of my journey. 3 months after the Christmas blow-up, spring was creeping into Seattle, with cherry blossoms dotting the streets. I'd stopped paying my parents' $2,000 rent and $1,000 in bills, $48,000 over 4 years, and the fallout was still raw. Susan and Robert were in Oregon at Uncle David's, their Boise house gone to foreclosure. My sister Jessica was back in Boise, sending them $500 monthly, trying to step up. Family gossip painted me as heartless, but the truth was spreading. If you've ever had to cut off toxic family, share your story in the comments, hit like, and subscribe. It helps others find their strength. I was rebuilding, but the scars of betrayal ran deep. Therapy with Dr. Lisa Grant was my lifeline. You're grieving the family you deserved, not the one you got, she said in a session. That's valid, Emily. You don't owe them your pain. I nodded, still wrestling guilt over their lost home. I'd learned they'd blown my $48,000 on $25,000 in hidden credit card debt, not the house. I feel used, I told her. They lied while I sacrificed. She leaned forward. You acted with love, they acted with deceit. That's on them. Her words helped, but the hurt lingered. Mom's dismissal, Dad's criticism, Jessica's pedestal. I was learning to let go, but it wasn't easy. Jessica and I were slowly reconnecting. We met at a Boise diner when I visited for work. I'm paying Mom and Dad's utilities, she said, sipping coffee. It's tight, but I'm trying. They still blame you, though. I sighed. They always will. I gave $48,000, Jess. They lied about it. She nodded, eyes down. I told Uncle David the truth. He's pissed at them now. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Her apology felt real, but trust was thin. Just keep showing up, I said. Words aren't enough. She agreed. And we talked about childhood, her getting the spotlight, me getting scraps. It was honest, a step toward something new. Work at Peak Tech Solutions was thriving. My boss, Michelle, called me in. Emily, you're lead analyst now. Your work on the $500 million project sealed it. I grinned, floored. Really? With all my drama? She laughed. You've handled it like a pro. Congrats. The promotion came with a $10,000 raise, easing the sting of the $48,000 I'd lost. I threw myself into the certification program, finding purpose in data that helped people plan secure futures. Unlike my parents, my clients valued my work. Michelle also offered counseling through the company's wellness program. You're carrying a lot, she said. Use it if you need it. I thanked her, feeling seen in a way my family never offered. Laura and my friends became my real family. We started weekly dinners, rotating apartments, laughing over tacos or pasta. One night, Laura raised her glass to Emily, who chose herself and didn't break. I clinked hers, tears in my eyes. To chosen family, I said. They cheered, and for the first time, I felt home wasn't a place but people who cared. Tyler, Jessica's ex, texted occasionally, checking in. You're killing it, he wrote after my promotion. Jessica's trying, but your parents are stuck. Stay strong. His support, from someone who'd seen the chaos, meant a lot then. A letter from Mom arrived via Jessica. Emily, I'm ashamed. We relied on your $48,000, and I never thanked you. I favored Jessica because she was easier, but you were always stronger, smarter. I didn't know how to love that. We're in Oregon. Starting over. I don't expect forgiveness, just wanted you to know I'm sorry. Mom. I read it 4 times, hunting for manipulation. It felt raw, like her last letter, but I was wary. In therapy, Dr. Grant said, this shows growth, but trust is earned over time. What do you need? I exhaled. Space. I'm not ready for them. She nodded. That's your right. You're building a life that serves you. A week later, I ran into Uncle David at a Seattle conference. He was visiting for work. Emily. I owe you an apology, he said over coffee. I didn't know you paid $48,000. Susan and Robert spun a different story. I nodded. They lied to everyone. I'm done with it. He sighed. They're struggling at my place. Robert's too proud to work full-time at 60, Susan's picking up shifts, but it's tense. They miss you, but they're too stubborn to say it. I shrugged. They need to fix themselves. I did my part. He squeezed my shoulder. You're stronger than they ever gave you credit for. Social media buzz from the grocery store video had faded, but family drama lingered. Cousin Lisa called, apologetic. I spread Mom's lies about you. I didn't know the truth. I forgave her, but it reminded me how deep their deception ran. Jessica texted, Mom's asking about you. She's different now, Em. I replied, she needs to prove it. Jessica was trying, but Mom and Dad's apologies felt like too little, too late. I wrote Mom back, thanks for your letter. I see your effort, but I'm not ready to reconnect. Good luck in Oregon. Emily. It was civil, distant, keeping my boundaries firmed out by April. Their house was long gone, and they were settling in Oregon. Dad sent a text, I was wrong, Emily. You didn't deserve how we treated you. I didn't. Reply, but it stirred something, hope, maybe, but cautious. Dr. Grant said, you're allowed to feel conflicted. Healing isn't linear. I threw myself into new traditions, Sunday runs with Laura, volunteering at a tech literacy program for teens. I met Ryan, a coder at the program, and we grabbed coffee. It wasn't a date, but his easy smile felt like a possibility, something I hadn't allowed myself in years. Jessica and I met again in Boise. I'm doing a play here, she said. And I'm helping Mom and Dad with $600 now. It's hard, but I get why you walked away. We talked about our childhood, her basking in praise, me fighting for crumbs. I was blind to it, she admitted. I'm trying to change. I nodded. Keep at it, Jess. I'm rooting for you. It wasn't trust, but it was progress. Driving back to Seattle, I passed parks and cafes, feeling lighter. The $48,000 was a painful lesson, but it bought my freedom. I wasn't the kid chasing their love anymore. I was Emily, surrounded by people who valued me. Ata friends barbecue, Laura toasted, to new beginnings. I raised my glass, thinking of the family I'd lost and the one I'd found. Mom and Dad were in Oregon, facing their mess. Jessica was stepping up, slowly. I was building a life, work, friends, maybe even Ryan. The pain of their betrayal lingered, but it didn't define me. What's your story of finding freedom from family expectations? Share below, hit like, and subscribe. Real family sees your worth, not your wallet. Thanks for joining my journey. 6 months after the Christmas dinner that changed everything, I was finding my footing in Seattle. Cutting off the $2,000 rent and $1,000 in bills for my parents, Susan and Robert, $48,000 over 4 years, had unleashed a storm, but I was weathering it. They'd lost their Boise home to foreclosure and were living with Uncle David in Oregon, struggling to rebuild. My sister Jessica, back in Boise, was pitching in $600 monthly, trying to fill the gap. I'd left. Family drama still simmered, texts and calls from relatives accusing me of cruelty, but the truth about my sacrifices was spreading. If you've ever had to choose yourself over family who don't see you, share your story below, hit like, and subscribe. It helps others know they're not alone. I was healing, but the scars of betrayal ran deep. Therapy with Dr. Lisa Grant was my anchor. You're rewriting your story, she said in a session. You're not the villain they painted, Emily. You're the hero of your own life. I nodded, still grappling with guilt over their lost home. I'd learned they'd used my $48,000 to cover $25,000 in secret credit card debt, not the rent. I feel like I failed them, I admitted. You didn't, Dr. Grant said firmly. They failed you, lying, using you, dismissing your worth. You're allowed to walk away. Her words cut through the fog. I wasn't responsible for their choices, only mine. Slowly, I was letting go of the need for their approval. Jessica and I were mending things, bit by bit. We met at a Seattle park, her acting gig keeping her busy. I'm up to $700 a month for Mom and Dad, she said, tossing a pebble into a pond. It's tough, but I get why you stopped. They lied about your $48,000. I nodded. They told everyone I barely helped. I'm done with their narrative. She looked at me, eyes softer. I was part of that, Em. I soaked up their praise while you carried everything. I'm sorry. Her honesty hit me. Thanks, Jess. Just keep showing up differently. We talked about our childhood, her on a pedestal, me in the shadows. It wasn't fixed, but it was real progress. Work at Peak Tech Solutions was my safe haven. My promotion to lead analyst came with a $10,000 raise and a bigger role on the $500 million project. My boss, Michelle, was a rock. You're a star, Emily, she said after a presentation. Your focus through personal chaos is inspiring. Her belief in me was a stark contrast to Mom and Dad's criticism. I poured myself into the data science certification, finding purpose in work that mattered. Michelle also connected me with a mentor, Sarah, who'd navigated family drama herself. You're not alone, Sarah said over coffee. Choosing yourself is hard but worth it. Her words echoed Laura's, my best friend, who'd become my chosen family. Laura's weekly dinners with our friend group were my joy. Over lasagna one night, she toasted, to Emily, who's building a life that shines. I laughed, clinking glasses. To friends who see me. Ryan, the coder from my volunteer tech literacy program, joined us sometimes. We'd had coffee twice, his quiet humor a bright spot. You're killing it at work, he said once. Must feel good. I smiled. It does. Took a while to believe I deserved it. His nod said he got it, no explanation needed. These connections, Laura, Ryan, my colleagues, felt like the family I'd always craved. Then, a letter from Dad arrived, forwarded by Jessica. Emily, I've had time to think in Oregon. I was wrong to criticize your job, your life, your heart. You gave us $48,000, and we threw it away on debts we hid. I'm ashamed. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm trying to be better. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Dad. It was raw, like Mom's letter, but I was skeptical. In therapy, Dr. Grant said, this is a step, but trust is built with actions, not words. What do you want? I sighed. I want to keep my distance. Maybe someday I'll talk, but not now. She nodded. That's your power, choosing your peace. A week later, Uncle David called. Your parents are struggling here. Susan's working more, but Robert's stuck, says he's too old at 60 for a real job. They're starting to see what you did for them. I shrugged. They need to own their mess. I gave enough. He sighed. You're right. I'm proud of you, Emily. His words, simple and sincere, hit deeper than Dad's letter. I wrote Dad back, thanks for your letter. I'm glad you're reflecting. I'm not ready to talk, but I wish you well in Oregon. Emily. It was short, keeping my walls up. Social media had moved on from the grocery store video, but family tension lingered. Cousin Lisa texted, I told everyone you paid $48,000. They're shocked. Aunt Clara feels awful for believing Mom. I replied, thanks for spreading the truth. Jessica called, saying, Mom's quieter now, asking about you. I think she's changing. I wasn't convinced. She needs to prove it, Jess. Jessica nodded over FaceTime. I'm trying too. I got a steady theater job, helps with the $700. I smiled. Good for you. Our bond was growing, cautious but real. By May, I was building new traditions. I volunteered more at the tech program, teaching teens to code. Ryan joined me, and we started grabbing dinner after. One night, he said, you're different lately, lighter. I laughed. Losing $48,000 and a toxic family will do that. He grinned, and I felt a spark, nothing big, just possibility. Laura's crew threw a spring barbecue, and we danced under string lights, no expectations, just joy. This is family, Laura said, hugging me. I nodded, feeling it deep. Mom texted, we're settling in Oregon. I miss you, Emily. I didn't reply, but the ache was softer now. Dr. Grant said, you're letting go of their hold on you. That's freedom. I mourn the parents who never celebrated me, the sister who shone while I paid. But I was free to build a life with Laura, Ryan, Jessica, if she kept showing up. Walking Seattle's waterfront, I passed tech offices and blooming trees, feeling alive. The $48,000 was gone, but it bought my self-worth. I wasn't the kid begging for love anymore. I was Emily, enough as I am. What's your story of breaking free from family weight? Share below, hit like, and subscribe. Real family lifts you up, not drags you down. Thanks for being here. A year after the Christmas dinner that shattered my ties with my parents, Susan and Robert, I stood stronger in Seattle. Cutting off their $2,000 rent and $1,000 in bills, $48,000 over 4 years, had sparked chaos, but it set me free. They'd lost their Boise home to foreclosure and were scraping by in Oregon at Uncle David's. My sister Jessica, now in Boise, was sending $700 monthly, trying to bridge the gap. Family rumors still flew, some calling me cold, but the truth about my sacrifices, $48,000 and years of emotional neglect, was sinking in. If you've ever had to break free from family who don't value you, share your story below, hit like, and subscribe. It helps others find their courage. I was healing, but the wounds of betrayal lingered, shaping a new me. Therapy with Dr. Lisa Grant kept me steady. You've reclaimed your life, Emily, she said in our last session of spring. You're not defined by their rejection. I nodded, the guilt over their lost home fading. I'd learned they'd squandered my $48,000 on $25,000 in hidden debt, not rent. I still feel their shadow, I admitted. Like I'll never be enough. Dr. Grant smiled. You are enough, for those who see you. Their failure. To love you isn't your flaw. Her words anchored me. I wasn't the kid chasing their approval anymore, I was building a life on my terms. Jessica and I were finding our way. We met at a Seattle cafe, her theater job giving her stability. I'm up to $800 a month for Mom and Dad, she said, stirring her tea. It's hard, but I get why you walked away. They lied about your $48,000. I nodded. They built a story where I was the bad guy. I'm done with it. She looked at me, eyes earnest. I was part of that story, Em. I took their praise while you carried everything. I'm trying to make it right. Her effort showed. $800 was more than I'd expected. Keep going, Jess, I said. Actions matter. We talked about our past, her spotlight, my shadows. Building a fragile trust. Work at Peak Tech Solutions was my rock. My promotion to lead analyst and $10,000 raise fueled my confidence. My boss, Michelle, called me in. Emily, your work on the $500 million project is stellar. We're eyeing you for a director role next year. I blinked, floored. Even with my mess? She laughed. You've turned chaos into focus. That's leadership. I dove deeper into my data science certification, finding purpose in numbers that built futures, unlike the $48,000 I'd lost to my parents' lies. Michelle's mentorship, alongside Sarah's from the wellness program, gave me strength. You're a survivor, Sarah said over lunch. Own it. My chosen family, Laura, Ryan, and friends, filled my heart. Weekly dinners became sacred, laughter over pizza or curry replacing the tension of family holidays. At a summer barbecue, Laura toasted to Emily, who built her own tribe. I grinned, clinking her glass. To real family. Ryan, now a regular in our crew, was more than a friend. We'd gone on a few dates, his quiet support a bomb. You're unstoppable, he said one night, walking me home. Took me a while to believe it, I replied, smiling. His hand brushed mine, a spark of something new. These connections, free of expectations, felt like home. A letter from Mom arrived, sent through Jessica. Emily, I've had a year to reflect. Your $48,000 kept us afloat, and we betrayed you with lies and debt. I favored Jessica because she was easier, but you were always my strength. I'm sorry I didn't see it. We're in Oregon, trying. I don't expect you back, but I hope you're happy. Mom. It was raw, like Dad's letter, but I was cautious. In therapy, Dr. Grant said, they're showing accountability, but trust takes time. What do you need? I exhaled. I need to keep my distance. Maybe someday, but not now. She nodded. That's your strength, choosing you. Uncle. David called, updating me. Susan's working full-time now, Robert's taken a warehouse job at 60. It's rough, but they're trying. They talk about you, less blame, more regret. I shrugged. They need to live with their choices. I did my part. He sighed. You're right. I'm proud of you, Emily. His words, like a father's I never had, warmed me. I wrote Mom back, thanks for your letter. I appreciate your honesty. I'm not ready to reconnect, but I wish you well in Oregon. Emily. It was brief, a boundary held firm. Family gossip had quieted, but a cousin, Megan, texted, I told everyone about your $48,000. They're stunned. Aunt Claire is sorry for judging you. I replied, thanks for spreading the truth. Jessica called, saying, Mom's changing, Em. She asks about you, no guilt trips. I wasn't sold. She needs to prove it long term, I said. Jessica nodded. I'm trying to, $800 and counting. Our bond was growing, built on honesty, not promises. We met monthly, talking about her plays, my projects, slowly stitching something new. By July, I was thriving. I led coding workshops at the tech literacy program, Ryan by my side. You're good at this, he said, watching me teach teens. You're not bad yourself, I teased, feeling light. We kissed after one session, a quiet moment that felt right. Laura's crew threw a lakefront picnic, and we swam under the stars, no weight of family drama. This is what life's about, Laura said, splashing me. I laughed, free. Mom texted, I'm proud of you, Emily. I didn't reply, but the sting was gone. Dr. Grant said, you've built a life bigger than their mistakes. Own that. I was Jessica and I met in Boise for her play's opening. I'm nervous, she admitted backstage. You'll crush it, I said, meaning it. She did, and I clapped loudest. After, we grabbed burgers. I'm up to $900 for Mom and Dad, she said. It's hard, but I owe it to them, to you. I nodded. You're doing good, Jess. We hugged, a real step forward. Back in Seattle, I walked the waterfront, tech towers glowing, blossoms fading. The $48,000 was a painful price, but it bought my freedom. I wasn't the girl begging for love anymore. I was Emily, surrounded by Laura, Ryan, Jessica, a family I chose. What's your story of finding your worth beyond family expectations? Share below, hit like, and subscribe. True family sees you, not your sacrifices. Thanks for being part of my journey.